Bill, do you have any insight into that question?
I think both of those options have the same timeline.
Okay.
The constraint is getting back before the commission, identifying that solution. So I think realistically, it's probably the second meeting in July before those activities can occur, and this can be back before you. So whether the council acts tonight, passes it, and then has that come forward to them on the 15th to consider, or whether you table it and then take it off the table on the 15th and act on it, I think both of those probably have the same timeline.
Thank you, Bill. Walter?
Squeak.
Yeah, squeak. Change my mind.
Okay. Wayne?
As a clarification, we can't approve the zoning ordinance without having,
Conditionally, didn't you say that?
well, we could conditionally, but at the same time, would we be conditionally approving the preliminary plat?
Bill?
I mean,
If I may,
we can't do the preliminary plat until the parkland has been,
Yes, you can.
It partially depends upon where the parkland is going to be proposed. So if there's a fee in lieu of, you can certainly approve the plat. It won't impact the plat. You can. The Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation was to retain the park in existing location, replace the two lots that were removed on Apony, and essentially for them to work with the Parks Rec Commission and the director to find a way to satisfy the parkland dedication requirement. That could be a fee in lieu of, or it could be a dedication of land that's outside the plat boundary. So that could be a condition with the plat, and you could approve the plat with that condition. The zoning ordinance has the condition written into it. So the ordinances that are before you both have the condition, because the parkland dedication, even if you accepted the exchange, wouldn't have occurred tonight. Right. And so it was a condition that had to be satisfied. So in either case, the zoning will not be effective until that parkland dedication requirement has been satisfied. So you can pass the ordinance. It does have the condition within it. That doesn't mean that the council couldn't decide that they'd rather see the proposal, how it's being satisfied, and table it for the time being, and then act on it when it's before them.
Now I have something, if I may.
Did Wayne get wrapped up?
oh, go ahead.
Okay, Walter?
Bill, let me direct your attention to a question about the actions that are in the CC&R. I'm cheating. I've got it printed.
Yeah, my laptop died on me, so it's going to take me a moment to get there.
At the top of the back page,
Okay.
okay, we have handled A regarding the exchange of parkland.
Correct.
I believe the motion failed to declare intent.
So B is to approve the proposed comp plan land use designation resolution. C is to approve the proposed zoning ordinance and suspension of rules. And D is approve the proposed preliminary plat for the replat of Indian Hill 6 with the three conditions recommended by staff. And therein lies my question. Planning and Zoning recommended against the park exchange, but had 5 conditions.
Correct.
Where are the other? Where are the 2?
And that section should have been staff recommendation, not the action block. So the other 2 are included in the relevant criteria that are in your packet that memorialize the Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation. So the relevant criteria that's in the packet
Right.
has the 5 conditions that are listed. If I can.
Is that the relevant criterion standards and then recommendations, staff recommends approval?
3 to 4.
2 of the conditions with staff recommendations were no
59.
longer relevant.
135.
So that's why it was reduced to 3. With the parkland
Okay.
exchange removal, it reduces it down
Took
to
care of the
3.
other 2 and takes it down to 3.
Correct.
Thank you. With that, Madam Mayor, I would make a motion that we approve the proposed comp plan land use designation resolution, and if the city attorney will allow me to do this as a batch, I will.
I would rather have you do it singly.
So
I'll
we'll make
second that.
That
we
is
have
my motion.
Walter's motion and Wayne's second. Discussion. Any discussion? Tim, did I hear you?
No, I
Okay.
didn't raise my hand.
Okay, no discussion. We'll start the roll call vote with you.
Aye.
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 Okay, that motion carries.
And Madam Mayor, thank you. I would make a motion that we approve the proposed zoning ordinance on the suspension of the rules requiring 3 complete and separate readings, and that they be read by title and published by summary.
Second.
We have Walter's motion and Tim's second. Any discussion of that?
Some
Bill?
clarification, we do have 2 versions of the ordinance that's in the packet this evening. So you're referring to the ordinance that does not include the parkland exchange?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
And I'm challenging the mayor to find the correct one.
It's in the heading.
she reads
Good news is she has to do it and I don't.
Because without
Is this the
parkland
one with the
exchange.
4.63 acre reference? 5 point.
Yeah, look for a heading on the top of the ordinance that
It's a
says
heading.
without parkland exchange.
Yeah,
Should be a
just-
header.
Got it, got it.
It just flipped through there.
Ta-da.
And that was for the resolution as well. I didn't actually hear the motion. I was looking at something on the resolution, but there were 2 resolutions in the packet, one that assumed the exchange, one that did not. So the one that was passed by the council did not include the parkland exchange.
And I'm comfortable with that, that the resolution is the one without the parkland exchange, since the council failed to declare its intent to pursue the parkland exchange.
Okay.
Is the motion appropriate as,
Yes.
okay, so that is my motion.
Second.
Okay. Walter's motion and Wayne's second. Any discussion? And hearing none, we'll start the roll call vote with you, Dan.
Aye.
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 Okay, that motion carries. So that's ordinance number 2013-10, and ordinance the City of Moscow, Idaho, a municipal corporation of Idaho, providing for the zoning of a 5.69 acre property described in Section 1 of this ordinance, a combination of general business, GB, and residential office, RO, providing that the provisions of this ordinance be deemed severable, providing for this ordinance to be in full force and effect from and after its passage, approval, and publication according to law. Mr. City Attorney, would you like a reasoned statement pertaining to aspects of that ordinance or the resolution that was
I
assumed?
believe
The comp plan
resolu-
amendment as well.
the resolution as well.
Okay. Walter, would you like to make a motion pertaining to?
I would.
Reason-
Keep going.
Well, this is where I started getting lost, when you and the city attorney start talking above my head. A motion to,
There needs to be a.
Reason
to
statement.
Reason
adopt,
statement.
can we adopt the reason
Adopt the
statement of
P&Zs.
P&Z
Certainly.
That would be great.
Can, and reference the date?
from May 8, wasn't it, Bill?
That's correct.
Was it 8?
May 8?
Yes.
Yeah, P&Z's reason statement.
Second.
And also, you want the resolution as part of that, Gary?
Yes, the resolution needs to have the same supporting criteria.
Do we have to do this as two
The
separate?
Planning and Zoning Commission passed relevant criterion, reason statement and relevant criterion standards for the resolution, then the ordinance, then the plat.
So Gary, in proper form, the council has just passed the ordinance. Walter has made a motion for the reason statement of relevant criteria and standards put forward by the Planning and Zoning Commission on May 8th, 2013. May he do that resolution, the supportive reason statement for the resolution separately in a separate motion, or do you, rather than bundle them? That would be.
I would prefer that you do them in order. You've now passed the resolution and the ordinance. It's entirely appropriate to go back. But I would suggest you do the reason statement for the resolution first, then adopt, if that's what you want to do, and then adopt the reason statement under a separate motion for the ordinance.
Okay, then.
Would you like to withdraw that and rephrase it
I
as
would.
the reason statement for the resolution
I-
that was assumed by?
I do not assume that the city attorney is telling me what my motion should be. He's telling me how to make the motion
Correct.
to get to where we're trying to go.
Purely technical.
Purely technical. Yeah, and so you wanted the one for the resolution first?
That's
So
what
I would make a motion that we adopt P&Z's reason statement from May 8 for the resolution.
Second.
Walter's motion, we have Tom's second. Any discussion of that? Hearing none, we'll start with you, Tim.
Aye.
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 The motion carries. Walter,
And now we need a motion,
for the reason statement for the ordinance that just passed.
a reason statement for the ordinance that we just passed, and that would be P&Z's May 8. Am I still in May? May 8 reason statement.
Second.
Okay, Walter's motion and Tom's second. Any discussion? Tim, any questions
me.
or discussion?
If I
I
may.
just
Yes,
had a
please.
question on the date. whether
Yeah, the question, the aside
May
that
8th or
Tim
May
just made was that
22nd.
It was the result of the May 8th, 2013 meeting. It was executed by Art Betke, the chair of P&Z, on May 22nd.
22nd.
So as long as we understand we're talking about the same
That's the one.
reason statement and relevant criteria, then
That's what I
fine.
understood when I was seconding that.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion with that clarification? Dan, we'll start the roll call vote with you.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Okay, and that motion carries as well. Walter, you're on a roll.
Keep going.
That's what they tell me. I would also like to make a motion, Madam Mayor, that we approve the proposed preliminary plat for the replat of Indian Hill 6 addition, Phase 2 and 3, with the 3 conditions recommended by staff.
And I'll second that one.
Okay, we have Walter's motion and Wayne's second. Any
Madam Mayor?
discussion? Yes?
If I may just clarify, I would like to read through those conditions just so the council is aware, and there may be one that needs to remain in the motion, depending upon what the council would like to do. But the first condition recommended by Planning and Zoning Commission was to amend the plat to retain.
Whoa. The motion was 3 conditions by staff.
Correct, but there's a fourth motion that you may wish to consider, because if I could just read through them and explain why that is.
Okay,
for your consideration.
you said as presented by P&Z, which is
Oh,
confusing.
I'm sorry. Just to clarify, the 5 conditions, so there were 5 conditions proposed on the preliminary plat by the Planning and Zoning Commission. The first was that the amendment of the plat to retain the existing parkland parcel and existing pedestrian easements. The second was that the plat be amended to leave the 2 lots that were removed from the area of the proposed parkland on the corner of a pony. Those 2 were the ones that weren't included in staff's recommendations because the park exchange was recommended by staff, and so that's why there were 3 in staff's recommendations. Because of the council's decision to not accept that exchange, I would suggest that those 2 should remain, and there should be 5 conditions in the council's action. So I'll finish the remaining 3. Item number 3 was the applicant worked with the Parks Rec Director and the Parks Rec Commission to find a suitable means to satisfy the increased parkland dedication requirement. Number 4 is the applicant shall dedicate additional public utility easements on lots 3 and 4, Block 7, in order to accommodate the 20-foot wide sanitary sewer easement. And item number 5 was the applicant shall amend the turning radius on the portion of a Pony Place where the street makes a 90-degree turn to the south to meet city standards. So I would suggest that all 5 of those, in light of the council's decision, should accompany the council's approval of the preliminary plat.
So the motion should read with the 5 conditions
As
recommended
proposed by the Planning and Zoning
by
Commission.
Planning and Zoning
Correct.
On May 8th.
on May 8th.
I want to amend your motion.
I would amend my motion to reflect the 5 conditions of Planning and Zoning.
Modify
Modify my motion to reflect the 5 conditions of Planning and Zoning from May the 8th.
Is that acceptable to the seconder?
Acceptable.
All right, so we have Walter's motion and Wayne's